Cult.
We accept a one of us. We accept a one of us.
Classic.
Lolita.
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 Oddities.
Oh my God almighty, someone has sent me a bowel movement!
Welcome everybody to the Cult Classic Oddities show. I'm Ty.
And I'm Brad.
And we are here to start a podcast. This is our first episode. A podcast that we would like to discuss strange, obscure, and controversial films throughout history. Brad, thanks for being here with me.
Oh, absolutely.
I met Brad, just a little background, through a drive-in event at the Riverside Drive-In in Vandergrift, Pennsylvania. Brad does the photo ops.
Yes.
For most, yeah. Can you tell our listeners who you have appeared as?
I have done Leatherface. I've done Herman Munster. I'm a bit tall. I'm about 6'7", and so I kind of, I'm a little bit creepy in my ways.
You're a Sasquatch.
I'm a Sasquatch. Yeah. I've also done Gunther from Funhouse.
I think that was my personal favorite.
Yeah, me too. Mm-hmm. That was difficult because the mask was just I could not see out of it. I had to have a handler that day.
And you had to walk around with dirty hands the whole day. Yeah.
But it was a great time.
What did you use? Did you just go down to the river?
No, actually, this is funny. I put everything on and I'm like, I'm missing something. My hands look too clean. So I went over to my truck and I rubbed my hand on the inside of the wheel and got all the brake dust all over my hands. Needless to say, they're still dirty from that day, and that was 2 years ago.
Well, yeah. Wow, it was 2 years ago already. No, I think, maybe. No, I think it was 1 year.
No, that was 1 year. Yeah, last year.
Yeah, don't make me older than I already am.
Please.
Okay, so on our first episode of the Cult Classic Oddities show, originally I was thinking Pink Flamingos would be the first episode, and then I was thinking Lolita, and I thought, boy, I'm going to be alienating a huge portion of the audience just on the first episode. So I thought we'd go a little bit more even kilter. I thought we'd also, I think me and Brad agreed that the film Freaks from, what year was that,
1930?
1932, Freaks. We thought this was a perfect film to explain to the audience or show the audience just the kind of film that we intend to cover. And it doesn't hurt that it's called Freaks and it's about sideshow oddities. So Cult Classic Oddities, a movie about oddities. What do you think, Brad?
Something out of the norm,
Yeah.
Real people. That's what intrigues most of us. People who stick out. Like for myself, I'm 6'7". I walk into a restaurant, people stare at me.
Yeah.
Because I duck through going underneath. So this one kind of hits home a little bit myself.
Yeah, you are a freak.
Yeah. Hey.
Now I feel bad. Like the first time, well, maybe not the first time I ever met Brad, but certainly the first time I ever met Brad in public. He walked through the doors of a bar called the Hancock Inn, and I said, "Look at this fucking Yeti that just walked in."
Needless to say, yeah. Most everybody called me Sasquatch anyway, so it's I enjoy it. I've embraced the freakness. That's why I love this movie. Just kind of it's family.
Yes. Okay, so Freaks. To give a simple synopsis, Freaks is the story of Hans. He's the central character. His girlfriend is Frida, and they are little people. They actually look like children, honestly. I would put them at maybe they look like 4-year-olds.
Yeah.
Would you
well,
agree?
Hans was 40 years old when he filmed this.
Wow. He does not look it.
Not at all.
I mean, he's not only a little person, but he has very childish features.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Childlike.
At 30, I had gray hair, and this guy is just he looks 5.
Like Benjamin Button.
Benjamin Button's perfect.
Yeah. So the story is centered around him for the most part, and he is in love with a big woman, not a big woman,
Amazon.
A tall,
Amazonian,
beautiful woman, much to the dismay of his girlfriend Frida, and so to get into the specifics of the plot. Hans is kind of conned by Cleopatra, that's the Amazonian woman, and some chaos ensues. So the movie opens with a carnival barker talking about a sideshow freak that you do not see. And that starts our story off, our story of a prior evil. I mean, even back then, this predates slashers by quite a while.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
But the established prior evil is definitely an integral part to the plot, I think.
Yeah, no matter what size you are, you still have a little evil in you.
Yeah, for sure. So, Brad, what did first impressions of Freaks?
First of all, I found it out. I found it was almost like a soap opera for the sideshow.
Oh yes, yeah.
You know, it was normal life, but lots of fireworks. You know, we can all attest to that. You know, we all have our lives, and this is just the lives of sideshows and different forms of people.
Yeah, it doesn't portray them as freaks. It portrays them as characters.
Exactly, and that's what makes this more, I don't want to say scary, but more interesting, because of the fact that we see normal people, and everybody has feelings. Everybody has desires. Be you 8 foot tall, be you 2 foot tall. And this movie shows that perfectly. You know, it shows love, it shows hate, it shows revenge. Yeah.
Oh baby.
Absolutely.
So I do agree that they portray the characters they portray them as characters. There's no the focus isn't on the fact that they are sideshow performers. The focus is on the drama between the characters. However, they were not. You can't make a movie called Freaks without filling the frame with actual sideshow attractions. So, were there any that stuck out to you? In the background, you see them walk around. They're not major characters. They're extras,
right,
for lack of a better
yes.
term. Did any stick out to you?
Oh boy, a half man. You know, the way just the way he ran with his hands. It made him look just absolutely, menacing.
Mm-hmm. Lethal. Like
yes.
Like he could take you down.
Yeah.
If he
you wouldn't even see him coming, because he's 2 foot off the ground, and he's and there are different techniques of doing normal things. They're the armless woman, eating dinner and drinking out of a glass with her feet.
Yep.
It's amazing that people can actually do that. If one of us would try that, we'd fall on our asses quicker than shit.
Oh, for sure.
For sure. And the other one is the armless and legless man.
Yeah, I think that's the one. When we discussed this on the phone, I think that was the one that stuck out. His act was simply. It's a man. It's an African American man who has no arms, no legs. He's just a torso. He's in like a sack costume. Without, perhaps it's insensitive, but he kind of looks like a worm, and I can almost guarantee that's what he was billed as.
Yeah.
But his act was that he lit a cigarette, and just that simple act of lighting a cigarette is incredible and completely enthralling on screen, and I wish I could have seen it in person.
And the way they filmed it, it was like a normal, everyday occurrence. You know, they're having a conversation. You know, two gentlemen are having a conversation while you're watching this man light a cigarette with no arms or no legs. It's absolutely amazing, and I think that's what draws most people to, or used to anyway. They don't have freak shows, sideshows anymore, but what draws people to the sideshows, or drew them to the sideshows, is to see things out of the norm like that. I mean, it's mind-blowing.
Yeah, there still are sideshows, but it's all willing participants.
Yeah. Yeah, the who's that? The guy who used to travel with Warped Tour or whatever.
Oh yeah, there's plenty. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, the people that hang themselves up by dermal piercings,
Oh, yeah.
But they're all willing participants. I think there's definitely a feeling that these people were exploited. Whether or not that's true, whether or not they were willing participants, I mean, it's really up to an individual level, and there's no asking. I mean, this film was made in 1932. There's no asking anyone.
No, you just, hey, we need you in this movie, and you know, I was going to say something I forgot, but
it happens to the best of us.
Oh, nuts. Okay, I lost it.
Yeah, that's
all
right. In my notes here, I have that one of the characters, or actually a few of the characters, resemble Pepper from American Horror Story.
Right.
Which they have a pin-shaped head. I believe there were 3 of them.
There was 3 of them, yes. The one was actually the pinhead. The other 2 were, I believe, yeah.
It's microcephalic is the disorder that was portrayed by Pepper on American Horror Story, but in this film, it's not makeup. It is actors that are afflicted.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, there were this, and to go back, this movie was done without makeup. This movie was done without CGI. This was real people, and you don't see this very often, except through the American Horror Stories, the series.
Yes, yeah, I believe that was Freak Show. Maybe it was the copy we were watching, or maybe it was a filmmaker's choice. But boy, the sets always seem to be kinetic, always seem to be moving. I don't know if that's to portray the trailers moving, or if that's just the copy we were watching. Degraded over time. One way or the other, it was interesting.
It was very interesting, yeah.
So there was a half man, half woman.
Yes.
Very poignant.
Joseph and Josephine.
Joseph and Josephine. I gotta tell you, Josephine, not a bad looking lady.
Yeah, until she turns to the other side and it's like,
Well, I've met women like that.
I've left the bars at 2:00 with okay.
They have a good side and a bad side. You know,
just don't wake up next to them in the morning.
So Hans was a German actor. He had come from a family that were, I believe it was, trying to think of the New York, Coney Island performers, and they were billed as the doll family.
Yeah, the doll, yes.
His character is something of the protagonist, I guess you could say his girlfriend is more the protagonist.
Yes.
Frida.
Please don't go. Kind of.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm on the bigger and better things.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he's being conned because
is.
Cleopatra is a two-faced bitch.
Gold digger.
Yeah, gold digger. That's a good term for her. She's after Hans's money, which it turns out he has a lot of.
He has a lot of.
Yeah. Apparently he wasn't doing the circus and vaudeville and freak show acts for the money. He was doing it for the experience. Spoiler alert.
And what was funny to me in the beginning is you see these couples, they're lovey-dovey, and then 2 minutes later you see them and they're fighting and they're jumping into bed with the next person, which was great. It's Days of Our Lives in an hour.
Yes.
It's everybody's banging everybody else, and it's jumping in on each other, and it's hilarious just to see how fast they turn on each other.
Oh yeah.
And I think we discussed, imagine the syphilis outbreak in that camp.
Oh yeah, everybody was in everybody's pants. There's no doubt about that. I mean, there was a sense of community, and it's established that the so-called freaks. They do protect each other, but they rib each other.
Yeah.
There's a definite camaraderie, a give and take between them.
Definitely, it's definitely a family.
Yeah, and families do that.
Yeah.
They rag on each other.
Yes,
that's for sure. So Todd Browning, who was the director of this film, he had done a previous film with the actor who played Hans, who was Hans was portrayed by Harry Earls, like I had said earlier. They had done a film previously called The Unholy Three. I guess a film noir type dark film in which Hans didn't play Harry did not play a naive character.
No, he was definitely he plays definitely a con man, and he uses his size to his advantage.
Yeah.
They put him in a baby carriage, and everybody thinks he's just a cute little baby till
he
comes unglued.
Yeah. On-screen romance. Hans and Frida was very subdued because the roles were being played by real-life brother sister Harry Earls and it was his sister Daisy Earls. That's odd.
That would be very difficult. Well, of course, it might be easy if they're the brother and sister, they can read each other and.
They had been performing as a vaudeville act, so I guess we can assume they knew each other's chemistry.
Yeah.
Well.
I think we should focus on maybe looking at Cleopatra's little, Hans's love interest in this movie. She's sending, she seems to be the boss.
Yeah, she's the baddie. I mean, which is funny because you have the strong man, the character of Hercules.
Yes.
And yet he's still not. He's not the brains of the operation.
Yeah, he's very likes to party. You can definitely tell that.
Oh yeah, that seemed to be an interesting. That in their off time, they didn't have much to do but drink.
Yeah,
I can't imagine what it would have been like to travel like they did by wagon.
Oh.
All of them live in wagon trailers,
especially for if they had a tall person or a tall man in their compound, how would he? Because the wagons weren't very big.
No.
So would he? Would they make a special wagon for him?
I guess you have to, I guess you have to get the money of the little person German performer right. And use that money to buy a bigger trailer, which I guess would have been the driving force between his and Cleopatra's plot against Hans.
That would make sense, yeah.
Yeah, get a bigger trailer.
Yeah.
One with a bathtub in it, maybe 2 bathtubs. Because you don't want to bathe outside.
Oh no.
That was a funny bit.
That was a great bit.
Yeah, he wasn't bathing. That's Frozzo was supposedly in the bathtub, but then it was just part of his act. Yeah, I felt kind of odd that those two were so comfortable talking to each other when Frozzo was in the bathtub.
Right.
Frozzo was talking to his love interest, who was Venus, played by Lila Hyams.
Yeah, the animal.
Yes, the animal
handler, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know what tamer.
Yeah, there you
tamer.
Go. Yeah,
she was, but she was the love interest of Frozzo, who's played by Wallace Ford. They have a conversation. where it seems really odd that she's totally comfortable talking to him in the bathtub, but it turns out the bottom's hollowed out and
He's making a car or something out
yeah,
of
he's
wheels
just
on
part
it.
of his act. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's interesting that their love interest wasn't the focus of the story.
It makes more sense, but I guess that's kind of the point of it.
Yeah, they were the normies.
Yeah.
They were the normies that were friends with the freaks.
Yes.
You know,
Still one of us.
Yeah. They would have been one of us.
Yeah. And on the line of Frozo, in the beginning, you know, people are trying to talk to him, and he's in clown makeup, and he does not break character until he takes the wig off and his pants, you know, his shirt, and he starts taking the makeup off, and then he becomes the normal person, which is kind of cool. He doesn't leave character until he's actually himself again.
There's some dedication there.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, and he doesn't. I don't think you see him again as a clown, do you?
Nope.
No, they don't show him again.
They show him, they show him doing little tricks and stuff with his, with the suit, you know.
That his head got smashed down.
Right.
Yeah.
Typical clown stuff.
Oh yeah.
Just trying different things to improve his show.
Mm-hmm. So this wasn't, as I assumed, this was not pre-code. This was after the production code. So the love interest between Cleopatra and Hans, while it felt dirty in every way, shape, and form, and raunchy and inappropriate and everything, it squeaked by the production code because there weren't any steadfast rules for a little person that resembles a child and an Amazonian woman.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that's in standards and practices now. I don't.
It would have to be.
I don't think that would go over well.
Yeah, no, probably not.
Not in today's. No. Well, the 30s were a better time. You know? Yeah. Well, we're missing.
Yeah, back when medicine had cocaine in it too. So.
Well, yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. Well, who knows what was in that bottle that that Cleopatra was poisoning Hans with?
Yeah, who knows? Yeah. But, there was no over-the-counter stuff back then. Everything was bought.
Yeah. So it says here one of the most beloved of the sideshow performers was Schlitz, the most prominently featured pinhead. His fans on the lot included Norma Shearer, but when he was asked to meet his favorite star, Jackie Cooper, the child actor was highly disturbed by this. Schlitz was so enamored of the filmmaking process, he even came to the set on the days he wasn't called. Wow. Now, Norma Shearer, just to get a little cinephile on you, is actually one of my favorite actresses of all time. So that's interesting to read. Yeah, she did a lot of films. She played Marie Antoinette. She played the lady that gets cheated on in the original version of The Women. It was remade with who was in it? I don't remember. Cloris Leachman played the maid, but anyway, it was remade in the early 2000s, I think. But yeah, Norma Shearer, a beautiful woman who actually her eyes are quite striking, and it's a little known fact that she actually had she was cross-eyed and had to learn how to get her eyes straight in a way that would photograph well.
Right, sure.
But she's known for her
otherwise she would have
eyes.
started the Freaks.
Yeah, she would have. But instead, she became one of the most beautiful actresses of all time. Not that awesome. The Freaks in this weren't beautiful. They were.
You know what?
They were beautiful people.
Yes.
So Myrna Loy originally was to play the role of the trapeze artist, the Cleopatra character, but she felt the script was inappropriate.
Yes.
Offensive. I could see where she was coming from. I don't think I would want to be associated, because I think whether or not
at the time, if you're thinking about it, it's like it's exploiting the sideshow performers.
Well, I think to an outsider looking in, somebody that didn't see the film, that would be the knee-jerk reaction for sure. However, as you see in the film, it doesn't portray them.
No.
You know, it portrays them, like we said, as legitimate characters. So I don't see. But I still don't. You know, I think people wouldn't think it was exploitative, and I wouldn't want to be associated with it. So I think that's why you see that there were big name actors who were sought out but did not continue.
Right. It's you know, back. You know,
Even
back in the
then.
30s, you know, it was out of the norm. Even today's standards, it's still out of the norm.
Yeah, I don't think it would be made today.
No, I don't think so. I mean, through, you know, American Horror Story, most people have never even heard of, you know, the Birdman or, you know, Peppers or whatever, you know, pinheads were they called back then, or Half Man. Any of that stuff is you know, is you know, thrown, you know, it's just not normal in today's practices. I mean, they just, you know, and then to see them on film, it's just, you know, it's amazing. This is an amazing film. It really is. You know, you don't see this on today's TV anymore.
No.
And that's why it kind of, I don't want to use the term freak, but freak people out. Because of other abnormalities that people have, and I think that's why it's you know, just it gets to people, you know. Mm-hmm. So that made absolutely no sense.
No. I get what I get where you're coming from there. It says here, and you know, just a little fun fact here, that scene we talked about of the man with no arms and no legs lighting a cigarette. It says that scene was cut. He actually also rolled that cigarette.
Shit.
Yeah. that is
great.
I would have loved to have seen that. I'd pay money to see that. Oh my! Well, see, I'm a horrible person because I would patronize these sideshows.
You know, I would too.
I'd pay to see that. I would. Let's see.
I also read that the armless and armless man, or the legless man, he used to, on his days off, I guess you could say, would hide in alleyways and just jump out or roll out in front of people. And you know, you just imagine you're in a dark alley in the 30s, and all of a sudden this living hot dog comes rolling. I hate to use that too, but it's, you know, that I mean,
he's like a sausage.
Yeah, it would really scar a person.
Yeah,
and he got kicks out of it.
Yeah, you'd have to get some humor out of it.
You would have to, yeah.
You know, I don't see how you would live through. I make fun of myself daily, and it gets me. You know,
I mean, it goes back to like you know, me being a tall person. You know, I crack jokes all the time about my size. I mean, it's just,
I crack jokes about your size all the time.
Absolutely,
too.
And I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I can't stop myself. I don't know what.
You know, it's funny, just to get off the beaten path. When I go into the grocery store and somebody asks, "Hey, can you get me that thing off the top shelf?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I'll grab it and I'll just walk away. People will look at me like, that's just the sense of humor.
I'd ask them to get something off the lowest shelf for me. Yeah, I mean, I'm also a tall. I mean, I'm not quite as tall as you, but you know, the tall man. It happens. It happens. Everybody thinks you automatically work at a store if you're tall.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you're employed by Busy Beaver. By the way, that is our local Pittsburgh hardware store, Pittsburgh area, Busy Beaver. That is not a lie.
No joke.
Look it up.
I shop there often, too.
Yes.
I've never found any beaver, so I don't get what it is.
You know, they must all be out on assignment. That's all I can. I've never. Yeah. Don't want to go looking.
No.
There for anything.
What's the one character that we should focus on is the Siamese twins in this film.
Yes.
You
Were they really connected? We never did.
We never did find out. We still.
They're definitely twins.
Yes.
They're definitely twins.
And they're connected at the ass.
Yeah.
At the hip, I guess you could say, not at the ass.
Yeah, they're turned almost like they're taking a photo together.
Yes.
Back to back.
Right.
Like so your shoulders turned to the center. Yeah.
Yeah, left ass cheek to right ass cheek kind of thing.
Yes, exactly.
And and in the first, when we first see them, the one is talking to their husband or their fiance,
And the other one is
the other one is just standing there. And then the next time you see him, the other one is talking to, there's getting proposed to, and as you're watching, it's like, how is this going to actually work?
Yeah. It would probably keep 70s key party husbands busy for a while trying to figure that one out.
Sure.
I'm not quite sure how you go about it. I do think we all laughed. I think we all laughed when she kissed when the one Siamese twin kissed the gentleman. The other one got a smile on her face that was very lewd.
Yeah. She needed a towel after that one.
Yes, I don't know how you make a lewd smile, but she somehow did it. Yeah.
It was enjoyable for her also.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
It's I don't know if that's comic relief in the movie or not, but it works very well.
Oh, it's
makes you think.
It's comical.
Yeah,
that is for sure. Yeah. Yep. What did I say? Clean up. Yeah. Somebody get a mop. Yeah, that's how.
Somebody get a mop.
That's how vulgar that scene was. But hey, it was the 30s. Prohibition was over. All of them were drinking.
Yeah.
There was.
They were party. They know how to party.
That was their past. Oh, they do know how to party. That's a very famous scene in the film. I think anytime anyone references the film, they reference the wedding scene where Hans is marrying Cleopatra, much to the dismay of his girlfriend Frida, and boy, that was one hell of a party.
Oh.
Dancing on the table, full sideshow going on right there at the dinner table.
Yeah, the wine bottles lined up and down the table.
A giant goblet of probably just punch. Just everybody threw the liquor in they had left.
Empty their glass into it and everything.
What did you call that? Did you have a name for that? Whenever you just throw all the liquor together. We always call it Purple Jesus.
Oh, we call it trash can.
Trash can.
Yeah.
Yes, I've heard that one before.
Yeah,
Jungle juice.
Jungle juice.
Although I don't know if that's a sensitive term anymore.
Well.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do it.
Well, I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
I'll take the hit.
Okay.
I know Damon Williams has got my back. All right. Rather than visiting the set to gape at the cast, most MGM employees avoided it as much as possible. Now, I don't know. I think my curiosity would get the best of me.
You would be tugging it. It would be definitely be tugging at me. I would love to hang out with these people, just because they're different, and they're just like everybody else, but minus limbs and different looking and stuff, but like that. Like I said, I keep bringing my size into this. I would probably gravitate to people like that.
Oh, definitely.
To the obscure.
Well, you found me.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm weird.
Or you found me when whoever's the most different.
I don't know who found me. Either way, we met at the drive-in.
Yes.
It was
at a horror show. So
yeah.
We
were gonna, it was
go to your own conclusion on that.
Well, it was destined to happen.
Yes.
There's a bromance. It's there.
Is that the Titanic theme I hear?
Okay. I went to see the Titanic in 3D when they re-released it just to see Kate Winslet's breasts in 3 dimensions. Yeah. It made me sick. You can't watch 3D movies when they're at a theme park and it's maybe 15 minutes long.
Right.
You won't, but to sit through a movie like Titanic that's that long in 3D.
Was it almost 3.5 hours?
Oh, dude, you're so sick by the end of it. It's
especially
terrible.
the last half of it, because everything's just, that's when all the shit hits the fan, and it's like, oh god.
But this isn't a podcast about Titanic.
Yes, sorry.
No, that's both our fault. I brought up the Kate Winslet's breasts. So. This was ranked number 3 by Entertainment Weekly in top 50 cult films of all time. Now,
Shit, really?
number 3. Now I don't. What makes it a cult film? Now we're Cult Classic Oddities. We are under the banner of Cult Classic Horror, the newly released Cult Classic Comedy. What do you think defines a cult film?
Well, I think it's just number one. It's just out of the norm.
Obscurity, yeah.
It's something you don't see every day. It's not a slasher film. It's not a couple of potheads trying to find their car. It's not, this is, a cult. It gets a cult following through people who just get it.
Yeah, like Rocky Horror.
Rocky Horror, you either get it or you don't.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
Another one I go to is Donnie Darko. I can't stand the movie. I've tried to watch it 3 times. I don't like it. People, live their lives by it. And that's what makes a cult classic. It's just people who indulge in a movie or something you don't see up on the big screen.
Would you say it's automatically trash cinema? I think,
it could.
It doesn't have.
It doesn't have to be. This film here, I don't know if I would call it that, because it's very, for the time, it's very well shot. And,
it doesn't have the earmarks.
It doesn't
of low budget. It's not.
Yeah, it doesn't have. It's got feelings. It has everything you need in a movie. For an hour movie.
Yeah. Especially for that time period.
Yes.
Those movies were everything. They were dramas. They were comedies.
Right.
They sometimes musicals.
When you think back in the 30s, when you think movies from the 30s, you think gangster movies. You think fantasy Wizard of Oz. You think. Gone with the Wind, that kind of thing. You don't think of abnormal people up on the screen, and I think it might have a little bit of shock value to it then too.
Then and now. Probably more so now.
Sure, because
you don't
with the
see
PC going on, you would never see this film on the big screen. Just that, and I think that's what makes it a cult classic.
Do you want to see it on the big screen?
I don't think so.
No.
I think it's just, wrapped up in a blanket watching it on my TV is just as good, if not better, because you know what? For instance, at the drive-in, seeing Freaks up on the big screen at a drive-in, I'd be scared shitless. There'd be somebody sitting in my back seat and I wouldn't even know.
Oh, yeah. Just start crawling. Yeah.
Right.
That
or somebody jump up on your hood while you're watching it. It's just like, oh, fuck that.
That climax is hard to take. That is.
It is very hard to take.
Yeah.
When you're speaking of, in the movie, they're having at the wedding. One of us, they keep Google gobble, which is one of the iconic, chants you'll ever hear. And Cleopatra gets pissed.
Yeah, she doesn't.
She's not one of us. She's not one of them, and that's what that you see the turn on that, and that's when she starts to get rid of Hans, by poisoning him, because she doesn't want, she wants a big Hercules.
Yeah.
And she's just interested in his money, in Hans's money, and for a beautiful woman like that, she doesn't want to be associated with all them freaks.
Yeah.
And that's when the outer self shows through, where everybody around the table has a heart and they're all family, and that's what we kind of talked about earlier. And that, and she gets mad. She gets very upset, and payback's a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
You chose the life. Now you got to live it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This movie is almost like a badge of honor for what we're trying to tackle in this podcast, because it's difficult to talk about and try to remain sensitive to certain things, but that's why I want to talk about these films, because if we lose the ability to talk about this stuff, that's an awful day. That's like Orwellian shit right there.
And it's not like we're not dissing it or bashing these types of movies. We're just trying to bring them into light.
Yep.
Look outside the box. There's these movies, they've been out for a while, and they're still out there. They're still being made. It's just we don't know about them yet. Mm-hmm. And this is just one of the movies that just really that will stick with you. If you haven't seen it, I would recommend it. Watch it with subtitles, because the
accents.
The accents are
everybody is ethnic.
Yes.
Be aware when you watch this film, everybody has an accent except for the two normies that are the nice normies.
Yeah.
Everybody else, Hans is German. The Cleopatra, I believe, was Russian.
Yeah. So was the Hercules.
Hercules. Yeah.
And they're very thick accents, so it's a little difficult to hear, but.
Not to mention the sound wasn't great back then either. I mean, they definitely didn't. I don't know how they recorded dialogue back then, but
right.
I'm sure they didn't have the technology they do now to dub it properly or pick up sounds that pick up accents.
Yeah, well now we're used to today's day and age where you just change a vowel here and there and you have an accent.
Yeah, yeah. English people, softer vowels.
Yes.
Softer, yeah. And then if you're from Boston, you got to drop your R's. Just forget about R's. You don't park the car. You pack the cab.
Yeah, don't get me started on Pittsburgh's accent.
Pittsburgh. Yeah. Yin's guys better listen to this podcast. Yeah. I'll tell you what. So great film, 1932. Freaks, based on the novel Spurs. I'm gonna have to actually look for that novel. I've been looking for a new read. So before we close this out, and I'm kind of springing this on Brad here, but we're gonna do a segment, hopefully at the end of every episode, called "What Are You Excited About?" Not what did you watch, what's got you interested lately, Brad. Actually, let me ask you one in particular. What did you think about did you see the Child's Play trailer?
Here's the deal with me and trailers. I don't do it.
You don't do it? You don't watch them at all?
I don't watch them at all.
Okay, so what's got you excited then?
This movie Us coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Jordan Peele.
Yeah.
I've become one of his biggest fans here lately. There's a guy who's thinking outside the box. He will definitely have a cult following. If not, he already does. He films, his movies are just so out there. Outside the box. I mean,
well,
that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to. I mean, I have seen that trailer. After seeing Get Out,
you just had to. That was one you had to look at.
I had to watch that one. I haven't seen Child's Play. I haven't seen anything from it. Part 2, I haven't seen.
I don't even think there is stuff out for it. Part 2.
There's blips here and there. It's coming out this fall or sometime. I don't know.
I haven't seen anything. Pet Cemetery.
Pet Cemetery. I don't know if I can go.
It's hard for me to think of Judd not being
Bostonian.
New England. New England. He didn't have the New England. No, it's hard. It's hard for me to think of Judd not as Ed Gwynn.
No.
I think he made that character iconic, and as much as I love John Lithgow, I'm just not feeling it. We'll see what happens. I'll see the movie. Yeah. I don't know if I'll see it in theaters.
At least there's no creepy little kid. There's a growner girl that takes Gage's kid or Gage's
No, there's still a gauge.
Is there?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
See, that goes to show how much I've paid attention.
Yeah, you don't. So.
All I know, if there's Zelda in this movie, I'm gonna shit my pants.
Oh, dude, Zelda's awesome.
I have not seen the original since I saw it in the theaters back in 1986, 7, 8, somewhere in there. Mm-hmm. And I saw it once, and it scarred me for life. That's one of the movies I can't do it. Mm-hmm. I can't do it.
Zelda.
Yeah, he who
actually
actually was a man.
It was a man, yeah.
That's another movie that's kind of piqued my interest a bit, but
totally out of the horror realm. I just saw the trailer for I believe it's called Beach Bum or The Beach Bum.
Okay.
And it's Matthew McConaughey as a beach bum.
So he's playing himself.
Yes.
Okay.
But it looks good.
Okay.
It did look good, and that's the one that piqued my interest. He in a crazy plot that only exists in movies. His court-mandated punishment is to write a novel, I think. Or write a novel, because he's supposed to be a poet, I guess. So write a novel or do jail time. That's what I got from the trailer, but we'll see. So that's one I'm excited about.
Comedy, drama?
It looks like comedy, drama, both, actually.
Yeah. And, well, of course, Avengers Endgame.
Oh, yeah, well.
I'm a closet Marvel fan, so...
You mean a Disney fan?
Disney fan, well, yeah. Speaking of Disney, there's a bunch of Disney movies coming out this summer, too, so...
I'll probably see Aladdin. If it's at the drive-in. See, that's my thing. I don't go to the theater anymore, so if something doesn't get released between April and October, I'm not seeing it in the theater.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, me neither.
Or period. Well, I mean, I'll rent it, right. But I'm a drive-in snob. What can I say?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking of which, the drive-in opened this weekend, so.
Oh, did it? What was the first? Riverside?
Yeah, Riverside Drive-In out in Vandergrift, PA, if you guys are interested. Yeah. They had Captain Marvel. I'm not sure what the second one was, but I know they showed Captain Marvel. Whether it was a private screening or not, I had a couple of friends out there who went out last night, actually. Oh. Braved the cold and sat out there. I'm like, hey, you're more man than I am. I couldn't do it.
If it could have stayed like it was like Thursday and Friday, those would have been perfect drive-in nights. Yep. But now it's back down to, feels like the 20s.
Yeah, right.
When I leave this damn window open, you're probably freezing. But, yeah. The window. So we have Cult Classic Horror has some events coming up. I will be at the Cult Classic Horror. Will be at the Riverside. Oh, let's go back. Cult Classic Horror presents A Night at the Drive-In at the Winter Drive-In, Wintersville, Ohio. That'll be May 11th. On-site camping is permitted. We'll have some activities. Hopefully, have some vendors there. And that's an all-night, 4 films, so as long as that'll take us from dusk till 4 films later.
I'm sure it will.
And there's a surprise 4th film. I'm not ready to announce it, but it's very exciting.
Because those films aren't real long, are they? They're not...
No, the typical...
90 minutes, 88 minutes, whatever.
Yeah, so, but 4 films, so... Very exciting. After that, before that, April 27th
to 28th.
28th, thank you.
Yes.
We Call Classic Horror will be at April Ghouls, which is an all-night, 2-night drive-in event at the Riverside Drive-In in Vandergrift, Pennsylvania.
And if you have not been out, it is a awesome time. We have people come out from all over the country. We have people from Mexico come in.
Mm-hmm. I've seen that.
People have come in from California in an RV. They just rented for the weekend.
Mm-hmm. You see some strange plates out
there. It's a fantastic time. If you have time, look it up on Facebook. It's April Ghouls Monsterama. This year, two weekends. Basket Case is Friday. Toxic Avenger, Slithless, and Blood Beach. I'm not familiar with those, but I'm all up.
I've seen Basket Case.
Oh yeah, Basket Case and Toxic Avenger.
Toxic Avenger, yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the second night?
Second night. Saturday night is The Fog.
Ooh,
Creep Show.
Oh right, yeah.
With the Creep Show coming this summer to Monroeville Mall.
Yep.
Mother's Day and Burial Grounds, which I'm a fan of Mother's Day. I love that movie.
Okay.
It's one of the first movies I ever saw, horror movie.
So that was April
26th and 27th. I got the dates wrong before.
So that's at the Riverside Drive-In in Vandergrift. After that, we have the Living Dead Weekend, and I will give you the dates here for that in a second. Living Dead Weekend, Monroeville Mall.
Monroeville Mall is in June, I believe.
Yeah, it's a creep show and Dawn of the Dead focus show, so there'll be a lot of cast from those two films.
So many.
You never know who you're going to see at Living Dead Weekend.
So many people, especially with the Creep Show anniversary. Oh, yeah.
People just show. I mean, they don't have to be scheduled guests. You know.
I'm looking forward to seeing Adrienne Barbeau.
Yeah, I heard, and I think Tom Atkins is supposed to be there too.
Oh.
So that is pretty exciting, and that's Living Dead Weekend. June. I want to say, wow. Don't worry, we'll edit this in post. No, I won't. I'm too lazy. Okay. June 14th through the 16th.
There it is.
Is Living Dead Weekend Monroeville. June 14th through the 16th, and Cult Classic Horror will have a booth there, so come on and by and get a sticker and
Sasquatch will be there too.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be there.
Mm-hmm.
Brad will be there. Sasquatch. That's great. You can hang out with me at the booth.
Oh, I'm going to be there as a fan, man.
Oh, you asshole. Sit there for 9 hours and at a clip. It's a great time, don't get me wrong, but it's a trying weekend, there's no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
And then finally on our schedule, last but certainly not least, is Gross Fest. This is the second Gross Fest. The first one was last year. I actually saw you at that one.
Yeah, I can't wait for this one.
Yeah, I am very excited. We have a booth again. Some of the films I saw last year there were, let's see, well, I saw the guys from Scream Team releasing there. So
yeah, absolutely.
The Barn, 1031, there's supposed to be a 1031 2 coming out. She Was So Pretty, Brooklyn Ewing, great stalker film. Great stalker film. Gross Fest 2 will be at the Doubletree by Hilton Hotel, Pittsburgh, Meadowlands, Racetrack Road, Washington, Pennsylvania. Saturday, July 20th will be Gross Fest.
The last year was it's blown up for this year.
Oh yeah, and it was huge last year. I can't imagine what's going to happen.
Great job last year. Mm-hmm. Bring money.
Yeah, there were some great vendors last year.
Yeah,
vendors.
that's all I can.
I was a vendor there. I didn't have anything. I didn't even have stickers. I felt so terrible. I didn't. You could talk to my management about that one.
Yeah.
But
yeah, can't
Gross
wait.
Fest, great time, July 20th. All right, well, I think that about wraps us up. Brad, I want to thank you for stopping by.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate you coming on, and
this is
finally
huge fun.
Oh, yeah.
Mad fun.
Glad you can make it. All right, everybody. For Cult Classic Oddities, I'm Ty.
And I'm Brad.
And we'll see you next time.